In this video, I'm going to be drawing Ticci Toby and Jeff the Killer, and also reading a summary of who these characters are, in case you don't know. If you want to hear their full stories, they're already on my channel, so go check them out. This is basically an excuse for me to draw these characters again, because I felt like it. The summaries I'm about to read are from their respective character wikis, which I'll leave links down below if you want to check out and read for yourself. Also, let me know if there are any other creepypastas you really want me to cover here on the channel. But with that all said, let's get right into it. Ticci Toby. The boy lacked any normal appearance. Anyone could blandly see that something was wrong with him. His messy brown hair went in every which way, and his pale, almost grey skin was brought out by the luminescent lighting. His eyes were dark, unlike his mother's, and he wore a white t-shirt and scrub pants that had been provided to him by the hospital. The clothes he had worn before were so shredded and blood-stained that they weren't wearable anymore. The first description of Ticci Toby. Tobias Aaron, Toby Rogers, also known as Ticci Toby, is the protagonist villain of the creepypasta story of the same name. Personality. Toby is usually upbeat and hyperactive. However, he can occasionally be a very sarcastic person, and will sometimes be uncontrollable due to his bipolar disorder. He is shown to be temperamental when he is able to change from being very emotional to being angry or happy instantaneously, making it impossible to speak to him at times. In spite of this, he can show kindness towards certain people, and he is also shown to be a treacherous troublemaker. Although he twitches and ticks sometimes, he doesn't mind, and he continues with the same personality. He's a bit of a jerk, and annoying too. Biography. Backstory. Toby is a tragic boy who was born with several mental disorders and was constantly bullied until he went insane and killed his father. He was found by Slender Man and served as one of his proxies. Toby Rogers was born with many different mental disorders, making it very hard for him to fit in with other people. His disorders caused him to be unsuited for a public school surrounding, along with earning him constant bullying, so he was switched to homeschooling early on. He grew up with little to no friends, and he lived with his mother, his older sister Lyra, and his father. When Toby was 17 years old, his sister and he were involved in a tragic car accident, resulting in Lyra's death. Becoming Ticci Toby. After the death of his sister, Toby grew more and more troubled, his symptoms getting worse, barely eating or leaving his room, growing less and less social, losing more and more memory, and taking his stress out by chewing the flesh off his hands and fingers. His father lost himself to drugs and alcohol, and became abusive towards his family. Toby soon lost control of his sanity, and one night attacked and killed his father. He fled out of the house, grabbing 2 of the hatchets in the garage, a box of matches and a gallon of gasoline, and set the neighbourhood on fire in the attempt to escape the local police. The fire surrounded him, and he was about to give in to his own death when Slender Man appeared and saved him before he blacked out. Toby woke up with no memory of his past life and soon became one of Slender Man's proxies. A list of Toby's disorders. 1. CIPA, congenital insensitivity to pain with anhidrosis, causes him to be numb to pain. 2. Schizophrenia, delusions, bizarre behaviour. disorganized speech. 3. Tourette's syndrome, tics resulting in cracking of neck and joints. 4. PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, after a car accident. 5. Amnesia, after he met Slender Man. 6. ADHD. 7. Depression. Toby's known victims. His father, stabbed to death with a kitchen knife, and 4 middle school kids, all stabbed and bludgeoned to death with hatchets. Trivia. Ticci Toby was created by Wade Castaway. Ticci Toby is considered one of the most popular creepypasta characters, alongside Slender Man, Jeff the Killer, and Smile Dog. People often ship him with Clockwork in their fan art, given how similar their stories are. He was born on April 28th, 1997, and he is 5'6". Jeff the Killer. Jeffrey Woods, also more commonly known as Jeff the Killer, is the main protagonist of the creepypasta story of the same name. He is a teenage boy who loses his sanity and becomes a serial killer to satisfy his homicidal urges. Appearance. Jeff has extremely pale skin and burnt off eyelids, giving him an even more ghostly appearance. Jeff later got his most distinctive trait, the smile that he had carved into his face with a knife. His build is commonly described as slim, but fit at the same time, and reaches a height of around 6 feet. His clothing normally consists of a pair of black skinny jeans with a white hooded sweatshirt, often stained with fresh or dried blood from his victims. Personality. Jeff appears to be a very cruel, sadistic and insane individual. The smile on Jeff's face represents his sadism and overall bloodlust. His appearance shows how much he will focus to harm somebody. Jeff is primarily presented as a vain, narcissistic, emo-style teenager who has absolutely no intention of following general rules and will only listen to himself. He appears to be a mastermind when it comes to his emotions, managing to hide them and constantly pushing the attitude of ignorance towards everything. It is believed that Jeff is vain and full of his own self, but the reality is that Jeff actually hates himself and has numerous stresses over his physical appearance. Jeff also appears to be having issues with people leaving and forgetting him in their lives completely. He was very quiet and antisocial, and people generally didn't have knowledge about Jeff. His voice also appears to be very eerie and soft, and he speaks in a rather calm and polite manner. Relations. Jane the Killer. Clearly, Jane the Killer was based off Jeff the Killer. It is believed that Jeff murdered Jane's parents, ultimately causing Jane to lose her mind and motivated her to become the female version of Jeff and seek her revenge, which consists of hunting down and murdering Jeff. Others believe that Jeff managed to kill her and her whole family, and that he lit Jane on fire, causing her to become disfigured, although these are all speculations. Slender Man. Some theories suggest that Slender Man and Jeff the Killer are aware of each other's existence, primarily suggesting that they are each other's rivals. In order to defeat each other, Jeff is using his knives and Slender Man is using his tentacles. Others believe that Slender Man murdered Jeff's family and found Jeff alive, which gave Slender Man the opportunity of making Jeff his proxy. powers and abilities. Stealth. One of Jeff's most dangerous assets is his stealth. Having avoided capture ever since he started his killing sprees, Jeff is capable of infiltrating homes and can get into and out of houses easily without being heard or noticed. Speed. Jeff is known for being very fast on his feet. He is quick enough to dodge bullets and incoming attacks. Strength. Despite only being a teenager, Jeff has shown to be very strong when it comes to physical strength. He is powerful enough to kill adults and people twice his own size. This, combined with his murderous instincts, makes him a dangerous and deadly killer. Durability. Jeff is shown to be quite durable and can withstand just as much punishment as he can give. In most cases, Jeff either enjoys the pain or rarely lets it bother him. Manipulation. In some occurrences, Jeff can present himself as a nice and charming individual in order to manipulate his victim, with the intention of backstabbing them in the near future. Weaknesses. Human conditioning. Despite being a dangerously strong and bloodthirsty killer who should under no circumstances be underestimated, there is still the fact that Jeff is still a normal human whose body has its own limits. Like any other human being, he is still capable of being overpowered, outnumbered, and outsmarted. Insanity. While he does have his clever and manipulative moments, it should be noted that Jeff is still insane, and as such is prone to make unpredictable moves and decisions. Sometimes, Jeff will go straight for the kill instead of acting pragmatically and formulating plans. Trivia. There was a reboot of Jeff the Killer, written by K. Banning Kellum. One of Jeff's most villainous acts was revealed in Jane the Killer, the real story, where he murders Jane Arkansas's family, friends, and his own family, like in the original story, and lights her on fire, using bleach and gasoline, leaving her scarred and disfigured. He did something similar to this act in her original story, however, it wasn't portrayed as dramatically as the latter. Despite being one of the most famous creepypastas, Jeff's original story was removed from the Creepypasta wiki for failing quality standards. However, the remake of the creepypasta remains on the wiki. The original creepypasta was put onto the Trollpasta wiki. That's about it for this video, and as always, thank you so much to all my old and new patrons. You guys who have stuck around for so long, and you guys who have just joined me. It all really helps out, and I appreciate you guys so much choosing to support my channel like that. It really means a lot, and motivates me to keep trying harder and keep working on the channel. I wish you all the best, and I'll catch you in the next drawing video. Bye.